Hi there and welcome back. Let's take a look at some of the medical jargon or the medical language that we need to know to better understand the hematology and the blood disorders. Okay, so next slide please. So hematology is the study of blood and the blood disorders and so on and so forth. So heme or the blood, these are all coming from Greek. So hemia means blood, or heme or hemato would mean blood. You can have a red blood cell. Red means erythrocyte. So red blood cell, so erythrocyte. You can have a leukocyte, white blood cell. You can have a platelet or a thrombocyte or the platelet. Myelo is a bone marrow. Penia and osis are the opposites of each other. One would mean, penia would mean decreased and osis means increased. So you can have a thrombocytopenia, which means a decreased platelet, or you can have a thrombocytosis, which would mean increased platelets in the blood. Likewise, you can have erythrocytosis, which means increased red blood cells, or likewise leukocytosis, increased white blood cells, or leukopenia would mean reduced white cells in the blood. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So there are a few basic terms that we need to digest, and one of the critical process is called coagulation, and I'm going to cover that in the video presentations to follow. But simply speaking, your blood has to strike the balance, otherwise it can lead to hemophilia, or too much clotting factors can easily create a blood clot that could lead to a DVT, stroke, heart attack, you name it. Very important is the hemoglobin. That is the protein attached and found in the red blood cells. So normally the red blood cells and hemoglobins are looked together in the CBC count, but it is not the red blood cells, but it is the hemoglobin that matters the most. Because what hemoglobin does, hemoglobin carries oxygen, and in the lungs the exchange of carbon dioxide takes place. So hemoglobin is very important. When we look at with the naked eye, we feel that blood is all red, right? That is true, but that's only 45% of the blood. The remaining 55% of the blood is plasma, and it contains water and salts and proteins and hormones and vitamins and nutrients, you name it. And when you take away the clotting proteins and cells from the plasma, then what remains is called serum. Okay? I don't want to dive deep into the process of how the erythroblast turns into erythrocyte, which simply means that immature red blood cells turn into a mature red cells. Okay? But even beyond that, this is the starting point, stem cell. What is stem cell? Is the starting point of the formation of the cell that happens in the bone marrow. Okay? They go through the process of differentiation and maturation, and that ultimately leads to what we call red blood cells, white blood cells, thrombocytes. So that is the stem cell. And the process itself, the entire process is called hematopoiesis. Remember, we said poiesis means to make. to make what? To make blood. So to do so, all the types of blood cells are produced, formed, created. They go through the differentiation of blood cells, and the entire process occurs in our body that we even don't realize. So with that being said, try to make a note of these details, and we will move on to the next important aspect in hematology. Okay, see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.